Our first guest today is here to share some information about Tacoma Streets Initiative, what's completed, what's next, and anytime we get to talk about streets and improvements, I am in the chute for this. So please join me in welcoming Romero Chavez. You are the Director of Public Works, and we are going to be talking about Tacoma Street Initiative II, Proposition 1. Welcome to City Line.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
It's good to have you. You brought with you your, I think if I had to assign roles, Batman and Robin. Is that kind of good?
Absolutely. Here's my Robin.
I thought so. Okay, so Robin, known as Joe Franco with the $1 Million Smile.
Thank you.
You are the special assistant to this fabulous Director of Public Works. Welcome to City Line. It's great to have you both here.
Great to be here. Thank you, Amanda.
All right, so if people have been hiding in a pothole, pardon the pun, what is the Tacoma Streets Initiative, Romero?
The Tacoma Streets Initiative is a voter-approved strategy dedicated to repairing, maintaining, and improving Tacoma streets. Initially passed in 2025 by the voters of Tacoma, the initiative has focused on residential street resurfacing, pothole repair, pedestrian safety enhancements, and multimodal transportation improvements, which include pedestrians and bicyclists.
God, you said that like it's just tattooed across your heart, which I know it is, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't be doing this. So Joe, what did the city accomplish in the first version of the street initiative? So we kind of have some perspective.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Amanda. So since its approval back in 2015, the Tacoma Streets Initiative has generated over $397 million. Originally, when we had made projections, we were thinking we were only going to project about $325 million. So with grant match funds and just the success of our partnerships, we've been able to generate over 397. Currently, I think, looking at budget numbers, we're about 400 million now. For every dollar also that Tacoma voters have trusted to the city, we've actually been able to secure about $227 in grants and partnerships. Also, when we set out back in 2015, we were hoping to get to 5,600 residential blocks. We are now on track to surpass that goal and get to about 6,000 residential blocks. We've also installed about 4,000 ADA curb ramps.
Wow.
48 school crossing beacons, 42,000 feet of linear sidewalk, 7 miles of bike lanes. And overall, we've improved our residential street conditions by about 11%. So not to try to get too technical, but we did an assessment of pavement conditions in the city back in 2015. Our residential score for streets, residential streets, was about a 61, and it's usually on a score of 0 to 100. We're at 61 back in 2015. Now in 2023, I think the last time we did that assessment, we're at 68. So we've seen a pretty good improvement, and overall, we've had a 2% increase overall in the city. But the big thing is arterials, right? And I think that's what this next initiative is going to focus on. And as well as multimodal enhancements. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but we're looking at the decline of those streets overall, and Romero will touch on that. Yeah.
So as I'm sorry, I've got a little bit of a cold here. So why do we need, Romero, Tacoma Street Initiative 2? Because the first one was so comprehensive. We've got great slides. We see great work being done. Our standards of measurement, check, are there. We're improving. The voters are happy. Why not leave it at that?
Because the work is not done. And we can see the deterioration of Tacoma streets, mainly on the arterials. As Joe stated, the first streets initiative number 1 focus on the residential aspect, and we have done an incredible job, I believe, in improving residential blocks. Now the streets initiative number 2 is going to be focusing on arterials. Okay. And we have seen the deterioration of the pavement condition just in arterials, as we have seen an increase on residential, on our trails, we have seen a deterioration of just about 22%. So there is the need there. And I don't think I'm telling you anything new. If you travel the trails in Tacoma, the need is there.
Absolutely.
So, and we have conducted a community survey, and as expected, only 24.3% of the residents believe the streets of Tacoma are in good condition. So there's some work to do in that aspect. So really, Streets Initiative number 2 is aimed to build and pass successes of the Streets Initiative number 1, and also to ensure safer streets, enhance multimodal transportation, again pedestrian, bicyclists, and support really the economic growth while aligning the to climate action goals. So what we aiming with the Streets Initiative number 2 is just globalizing the perspective, globalizing the work, and making sure that every single aspect on the Tacoma streets are taken care of.
So, Joe, in this last 2 minutes here, I want to find out what is Proposition 1 and what is it in terms of the Streets Initiative 2 fund? Because you mentioned there's funds there. So how do we keep them separate?
Yeah, so they will go, funds from Proposition 1 will go into a separate funding account in the city. Right now for Prop 1, we're looking at about 25 cents for 1,000 for property tax, which currently we're only at 20 cents. And then the utility tax will increase from about 1.5% to 2%. That's on natural gas, electric, and phone companies here in the city. The current one is 1.5%.
That's how we're paying for this.
That's how we're going to pay for this.
So last question, and it's for both of you. What are the next steps and where can we learn more? Because you're rolling this out and people are going to have questions. So go ahead, Romero.
So the special election is going to be held on the Streets Initiative April 22nd, 2025. And that will be proposition number 1. You can learn more by visiting cityoftacoma.org, SI2, or email to Tacoma Streets at cityoftacoma.org. And we'll be more than happy to follow up with you.
You two are doing the work that nobody sees. You are the Batman and Robin of street improvements and quality of life here in Tacoma. I want to say thank you to you and your teams that we could not get on this couch. You have a personal invitation to come back and to show me more. Okay? Is that a deal?
Sounds
deal.
All
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. When we come back, Lens of Equity, Tamar and Kelly will be in the house. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.